I don't see that. Okay, friends, I will go ahead and begin with reciting the Namo Tassa and the three refuges for those who like to join in that. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Buddhang Saranang Gacchami. Dhammang Saranang Gacchami. Sanghang Saranang Gacchami. Dutiyampi Buddhang Saranang Gacchami. Dutiyampi Dhammang Saranang Gacchami. Dutiyampi Sanghang Saranang Gacchami. Tatiyampi Buddhang Saranang Gacchami. Tatiyampi Dhammang Saranang Gacchami. Tatiyampi Sanghang Saranang Gacchami. So welcome, friends, to this Wednesday evening Dhamma discussion and meditation practice. I hope you're all enjoying the onset of the springtime and have some flowers out in your gardens, perhaps. Now, I hope that you were able to get the mailing I sent out on Monday with the attachment to the two short suttas that we're going to go over this evening. And the first one is the title, A Good Sleep. And so the Buddha was staying, out in the country, in a forest between some villages, and just he had gathered up a heap of some leaves and spread it on the hard ground. This was I think in the winter time. And the ground was hard, and it is said his sleeping spot was spread out on a cattle track in the forest. I don't know how many of you have seen cattle tracks through the forest when they're kind of frozen. because they leave all kind of bumps and ridges in them, and it probably wouldn't be too comfortable to lay down on. But the Buddha just, got some leaves and spread it out, and then he had his extra robe. Anyway, at that time in the morning, after the Buddha had gotten up, normally he gets up very early in the morning and does meditation. So sometime in the morning, a prince from the neighboring district came by that spot where the Buddha was sitting on his bed of leaves in the middle of the forest. Then that prince came to the Buddha and saluted him and sat down to one side. And then he said this to the Buddha: "Venerable Sir, has the Blessed One slept well?" And the Buddha replies to him, "Yes, Prince, I slept well. Among those in the world who sleep well, I am one of those." And then the prince responded to that and said, "But Venerable Sir, the winter nights are cold, and this is a week when there is frost. Hard is the ground trampled by the hoofs of cattle. Thin is the spread of leaves. Sparse are the leaves on the trees. Cold are your tawny robes, and cold blows the wind." So the prince was, saying this to the Buddha. But yet the Blessed One says that he has slept well, and that he is one of those in the world who always sleeps well. So the prince had a hard time understanding how the Buddha could sleep well out in those conditions. So the Buddha's reply was, "Now, Prince, I shall put to you a question about this, and you may reply as you think fit. What do you think of this, Prince? There's a householder or a householder's son in a house with a gabled roof. The house is plastered inside and out, protected against the wind, with a fastened door, bolts and windows closed, and there's a couch in the house spread with a long fleeced black woolen rug, with a bedspread of white wool, a coverlet decorated with flowers, spread with exquisite antelope skin, having a canopy overhead and scarlet cushions at each end. And also a lamp is burning there, and his 4 wives attend to him pleasantly. What do you think, Prince? Would that person sleep well or not? What is your opinion about that?" And of course, the prince, who probably has those kind of sleeping conditions in his house or his palace where he lives, said, "That person will surely sleep well, Venerable Sir. You will be the one of those in the world who sleeps well." But then the Buddha asks him a counter question. "Well, what do you think, Prince? Might there not arise in that householder or householder's son vexations of the body or mind caused by lust, desire, anger, hatred, or caused by delusion, confusion, worry, or remorse, which would cause him to toss and turn and sleep badly and restlessly, which would torment him in his sleep?" And then the prince thinking, "Well, that may well be so, Venerable Sir." And then the Buddha replies to him, "Now, Prince, that lust, desire, infatuation, anger, hatred, delusion, confusion, worry, restlessness, and remorse, which would cause that person to sleep badly, which torment him while he sleeps, those defilements of the mind have been abandoned by the Buddha, cut off at the root, made like a palm tree stump, unable to grow again or to arise in the future, whereby the wind would be disturbed. Therefore, Prince, that is why I have slept well, and why I am one of those in the world who always sleeps well, who is utterly set free. The Buddha sleeps always well. By lust desires unstained, he is serene, free from attachments, cutting off all the bonds, removed from all smarting pains of the heart. So that was the Buddha's reply to this prince. Now that description of the prince's living condition or sleeping quarters, all those different things, that's probably sounds more comfortable than what the average person these days sleeps in their room, especially with, of course, the 4 wives attending on him. But, of course, modern people would call that, have a name for that. But anyway, but this was the definition of one who sleeps well, or those who is free from guilt, worry, remorse, and fear. And even those of people who are sleeping in well-protected place with security guards and forced air temperature, controlled temperature, and all the perfect conditions. They're nice cat sleeping with them, purring, and so on. So, but that person still might, wake up and toss and turn. So, having said that much, does anybody have any questions based on that particular sutta, or any other, sort of associated kind of Dhamma questions? Let's see if there's something in the chat box.
A couple people have raised their hands.
Okay, I'll get back to this chat question. So, Karen, there's a Karen out there with the yellow hand. So, what is your question, Karen?
Sure. I'm just curious because the prince is talking about more physical conditions, and the Buddha's answer appears to be more about our mental attitudes, like the mental. I'm just curious about that. Could you explain that a little bit more? Is the Buddha saying that it's your mind that determines how well you sleep and not the physical conditions?
Well, that's what basically he was replying. But of course, he was talking about himself and arahants. So, that's a very high level of development. So the average person is not going to have that much control and be worried if it's too cold and they have to pile on more blankets, or if it's too hot, they want to turn on the air conditioning, or if, noises in the room would keep them up, or just things that they did, worrying about having told a lie, perhaps, or having broken one of the precepts. So, we can see in our own experience, the nights that you have a restless sleep, you probably had some types of dreams. Primarily the Buddha's reply, or the prince, his angle was thinking that a good sleep depends on these external conditions. But then when the Buddha questioned him about it, he said, well, doesn't even a person with all those ideal sleeping conditions still can have a restless sleep with, this guilt and worry, greed and hatred and so on? So, and the prince replied, yes. So, he understands that too. But basically, he was observing the Buddha's cold condition. The prince couldn't have thought that he in any way could spend a comfortable night out in those conditions. And even the most average person also, wouldn't. And again, the Buddha was an arahant, so he could go into a deep state of jhana and kind of basically lose awareness of, the external conditions and not be bothered by it. But the point is that the Buddha was trying to make that is not just the physical conditions that we have, the ideal conditions we have, or health and having a lot of money to do whatever we want, and relative freedom still, if we've lived unskillfully and our mind is full of lust and greed and delusion and ego and guilt, worry, remorse, and fear, that even the person with the good conditions is still going to have a restless sleep, perhaps.
Thank you, Bhante.
You're welcome. Okay, that's another hand is up here. Dennis.
Yes, Bhante, good evening. When these defilements arise that cause issues with the sleeping and perplexing the mind, I think in the past you might have talked about substituting those arisings with a metta thought, or replacing it with a metta thought, or maybe suppressing it somehow. Could you talk to that a bit, of how, when these defilements arise, how they're best to, in the moment, be gotten eliminated? Since we're not going to be an arahant, we're not going to have there's going to be no palm tree cuttings. For me, it's going to be full blown, but I'd still like to, try to move it out of my mind, at least temporarily.
Well, of course, if that's what the evening meditation is good for. Before you sleep, you should always try to meditate. And it's a good thing to practice forgiveness and metta at the beginning of that meditation, especially if you've harmed somebody, or somebody thinks that you did something to them, and so on, to ask for their forgiveness, or to forgive yourself if you did something. So that, and then send out metta. So actually, yes, metta is one of the main ways that the Buddha also taught to develop that metta. And he said, one who develops metta, but to a high degree, not just 3 minutes of may all beings be well and happy and so on, but being able to reach the state of a jhana by practicing metta or something. That these kind of people who do that, they sleep well. Or reflect on anything else, or just do meditation, basically. Just do a nice evening meditation, and try to reach that state of tranquility and awareness. And that by itself should help to relax the mind enough to have a peaceful sleep. It depends on, how long of a meditation you did. Now, this comes to a point where one of those chat questions sent in by, Frank, he sent me a video of a Swami who calls himself Satguru. Anyway, he's a Hindu Swami, very nice, elegant looking Swami with a long white beard and hair. And he was telling, do this tonight for a good sleep, he says. And what he told them was to practice the reflection on no self. I am not this body, I am not this mind, and even to conjoin it with anapanasati. So breathing in, thinking I am not this body, breathing out, I am not this mind, and do that over and over and over again. Of course, that's equal to a meditation, as I've already mentioned. And that's part of anapanasati too. The Buddha taught this himself. If you're familiar with the Anapanasati Sutta, in one of the later of the 16 stages of the Anapanasati Sutta, the Buddha says, breathing in, contemplating impermanence, breathing out, contemplating impermanence, breathing in, contemplating relinquishing and letting go, which includes letting go of the sense of I. Breathing in, experiencing fading away, that means letting go of the sense of self. And that comes, of course, from not identifying with the body and mind. So basically, breathing in, letting go of the sense of I am the body, letting go of the sense of I am the mind as you're breathing. So, that's Swamiji's advice for people to get a good sleep. So that's nearly identical to what the Buddha has taught. So basically, yes, it's the evening meditation. But of course, if you don't practice meditation on a daily level, then you may not get so deep in the evening meditation or be able to carry it on long enough that it would totally silence all of your dreams or other restlessness. It all depends to the level of tranquility that you're able to cultivate. So, and then of course practicing the M&Ms. That's why I, so often repeat and remind people to do those M&Ms during the day, because that's where we accumulate most of the kind of anxiety and memories of the actions that are fresh in our mind that is going to cause this kind of worry and anxiety. I mean, it would be nice if we could have known what Donald Trump's state of mind was the day before you flew to New York to be indicted, whether he was able to have a good night's sleep. Well, we don't know. He might say, yes, I have a good night's sleep. But anyway, so, that's just one example.
What about chanting, Bhante? Chanting in the night.
Well, even chanting, because that's a kind of samatha practice. You're chanting, repeating a chant over and over again. And usually that chant has a positive meaning, like chanting Namo Buddhaya, for example, or Namo Tassa, or something like that. Something that you understand the meaning of. And that will act as a way to gain some tranquility. So you could do that, before the meditation. I mean, that's why before our meditations, most of the time, after doing some yoga stretches, well, not so much on Zoom, but maybe I will tonight, but, chanting Namo Buddhaya, for those of you who've been to my retreats and so on, or been here, that I usually chant Namo Buddhaya, 3 rounds of Namo Buddhaya at the beginning of the meditation to help as a way to concentrate. Now, one could continue chanting that even longer. But ideally, one has to let go of the chanting and then go into the silence that is left after the chanting. That's what's important. It's just chanting and then getting up and going out. It's not going to be very effective. But you have to have the effects of that chanting and the meaning of that chanting to kind of sink into your unconscious mind. So there's one of these chats from one person, Ines, who is going to be coming to our weekend meditation. I'll send you an email, Ines, to discuss that. Okay? Any other yellow hands arise? Okay, I'll go on to the second short sutta, which is the simile of the snake. Now, this is a well-known sutta amongst the people who've read the Buddhist text, but this is just an extract from the sutta, and so I'll try to explain the context of that sutta, because actually it was quite a long sutta. But I'm just going to read this extract now. So it says, suppose a man wanting to catch a snake, he sees a large snake, but he tries to catch the snake by grabbing it by its coils or by its tail. Now, if any of you have seen some of these nature shows where some of these, these guys, snake catchers, grab a snake by its tail, you see how the snake turns around and, it'll try to bite the person. But instead, that person has to catch the snake. He uses a forked stick and tries to put it behind the snake's neck and then grab the snake behind the head so it can't turn around and bite him. So if a person wrongly grasps the snake, it turns around and will bite him. And so too, if some people learn the Dhamma, and they want to learn the Dhamma just so that they can become a well-known teacher or a preacher, or for some other reasons, going around and getting a lot of disciples, but doesn't really penetrate those teachings, doesn't actually practice the meditation to become one with those teachings. They can still be use the Dhamma in a wrong way, maybe to get fame, name fame, or wealth, or whatever. I mean, there are some monks who have done that, but there's not a majority, of course. But so anyway, it's just a simile to show that the proper reason for practicing Dhamma is to eliminate greed, hatred, and delusion, to practice the Noble Eightfold Path. So by practicing the Dhamma in the right way, and then by practicing the Dhamma in the right way, by meditating and gradually gaining, levels of deeper meditation and weakening the defilements, then that is the way that we, grasp the Dhamma in the right way. So now that sutta, actually, I'm going to explain a little bit about the context of that sutta. That there was one monk, at the time of the Buddha, that used to be very on friendly terms with the nuns. And he used to go to the nuns and get on friendly terms with them, maybe give them Dhamma talks. And then when some other monks criticized this monk for, getting too friendly with the nuns, and where the nuns were always telling the monks, don't criticize that monk, he's a good monk. And so the other monks would say, see, now these even these nuns are taking your side, knowing that he was a, he got angry. So this monk would get angry. Don't criticize those nuns. Those are good nuns, or whatever, different things. So anyway, this monk got angry and displeased and would, cause a number of problems. And he wanted to be known as the monk who was, friendly to the nuns, or even to lay people. Some monks are going and getting too friendly with lay people, and these lay people, on account of that, giving him all kinds, things that maybe he shouldn't have, and so on. So it was this kind of thing that the Buddha is referring to. Becoming a monk and learning the Dhamma for these getting too attached to the worldly life. Okay. So having said that we can also, in our own practice, that's the way that we, so many of you have been, coming to these teachings, learning the teachings, and of course I don't know what all of you do with them, but I'm sure that you come so often and do the meditation that you're getting some benefits from it. Okay. So does anybody have any maybe questions based on that, or any other additional questions? Okay, looks like there might be some new
Bhante,
yes.
in studying this a little bit earlier today, it seems like there's a contentment and in comfort or in opposition, when it's really the same kind of Dhamma, but through practice and getting rid of all the Buddha, what the Buddha told the prince, that they're actually the same character, the abiding with contentment of the Buddha. So it's an opposition, but it's not. It's really of the same nature. So that the Dhamma of the Buddha is the Dhamma, and the prince. I mean, he's basically also giving the prince a lesson, and not like criticizing him or anything. And he, because the prince is referred to as the householder's son, so he's really talking about his father. It is the son of the king. So it really has a nice feel to it, to address a student youth, or a youthful prince who's is probably going to like follow the Buddha, which is a nice story.
Well, we don't know whether he followed the Buddha or not. So, but anyway, yeah.
Well, he has the chance. It's up to him.
Well, there was a lot of people that lived in the time of the Buddha and came to his program, but not everybody, attained passing fruits. Although there were some noble persons and royalties that did renounce and so on. But I'm not sure about Prince Abhaya. Okay, friends, I think we'll go ahead and end this discussion now, unless there's any last questions that came up. I don't see any yellow hands, so let's go ahead and take a few minutes break and then come back and do some stretches and then have our meditation. Okay? See you back in a few minutes. Hey friends, try to stand straight. Relax your arms at the sides. Feel your feet pressing the floor. Feel your head balanced on top of the neck. Keeping the chin lifted up level with the floor. Feel the eyes in the socket. Feel the eyelids stretched over the eyeball. Try to hold that outline of the standing body in the mind's eye. And then begin some deep, slow breathing, taking 2 or 3 seconds to expand the abdomen, rib cage, and upper chest. Hold the air in the lungs for 2 or 3 seconds. And slowly breathe out, feeling the last bit of air go out of the lungs. Just take several more deep, slow breaths like that, developing this mindfulness. Breathing in, letting go of the past and future. Hold the breath. Breathing out, standing here and now. Breathing in, letting go of the past and future. Breathing out, standing here and now. Breathing in, feeling the whole body. Breathing out, feeling the whole body. Now we'll combine these, this breathing with these exercises, repeating each exercise 3 times. So with the next in-breath, raise the arms over the head, interlock the fingers, turn the palms up, straighten the arms, stretch your head back while stretching upward. With the out-breath, turn the palms down, touch the top of the head. Again, in-breath, palms up, straighten the arms. Stretch the head back, bend backward. Out breath, touch the head. Third time, hold the upward stretch longer. Bend back a little more, feel the sensations. Feel the arch in the lower spine. And release the fingers. The out breath, arms back to the sides. Close the eyes. Feel the increased sensations, especially in your hands and fingers. And the sensations of the clothing touching the skin. Just feel the outline of the body. Just remember standing, standing, feeling any aches or pains that might arise, itchy sensation. Letting go of your thoughts. Let the thoughts come and go in the back of the mind, but keeping the sensations of the breathing body in the front of the awareness. Always remembering standing, standing. Now on the next in breath, push up on the toes while raising the arms over the head in this way, facing the hands toward each other and stretch up. Out breath, come back down, arms to the side, heels to the floor. Use the in breath to help lift up the body. In, stretch up. Out. Once more, in. Out. Close the eyes. Keep feeling the body. Feel the outline of the standing body. Feeling those prominent life force sensations, increased heartbeat, so many other different sensations, clothing touching the skin, prickly sensation. Remember standing, standing, standing. Next we'll do the side bending. On the in-breath, raise both arms up. Keep the fingers and arms straight, close to the head. On the out-breath, bend over your right side as far as you comfortably can, keeping the arms parallel to each other, like railroad track. In-breath, lift up. And the other side, out-breath. In. Again to the right, out-breath. In. Out. Once more to each side. The out breath, lower the arms as Close the eyes. Keep the outline of the body in the mind's eye. Remember standing. Feel all the sensations, life force, vibration, aches or pain. Okay, next we'll do the knee bending on the in-breath. You can push up on the toes, raise the arms up front for balance. On the out-breath, bend the knees, lower down, balancing on the balls of the feet. Come down to the squatting position if you can. And take a deep in-breath. Feel the muscles in the legs pushing the body up. All the way up on the toes. And out breath, lower down. In. Out. In. Out breath. Feel the increased heartbeat with the pulsations. Every exercise will generate different sensations or reactions in the body. Different muscles, organs, glands being exercised, generating sensation. Interaction with other body parts. Okay, now spread your feet, legs and feet apart about 3 feet. Hold the arms out to the sides. And breathe in. We'll do the twisting from right to left. In breath. On the out breath, twist to the right. Keep your eyes focused on the hand going back. In breath, back to the front. Let your feet turn with the body and twist to the other side with the out breath. In breath, front. Let's continue that, alternating sides with the breathing. In breath out. Once more to each side. Lower the arms. Feel each foot pressing the floor. Feel the clothing touching the skin of the legs. Feel the hands, fingers touching the legs. Feel the heartbeat and breathing in the center of the body. Feel the head on top, the eyes in the socket. Feel the outline of the body. Present moment awareness, grounded in the body. You now place the hands together at the chest. The in-breath, hands over the head. On the out-breath, hands to the chest. Bend the knees, lower down. And keep the torso upright. Feel the stretch in the hips and knees. In-breath, up. Out breath. In. Out. In. The out breath, arms back to the side. Feel the whole body vibrating, pulsating with activated life force. Now bring the legs and feet back closer together. Standing straight, we'll do the head turning from right to left. No in-breath, head to the right. Look over your right shoulder, turn your eyes further to the right. See something else behind you. Out breath, turn the head 180 degrees back to the left. Look over the left shoulder. In-breath back to the right. Concentrate into the neck vertebrae. Feel them loosening up. Out breath left. In-breath right. Out left. On the in-breath, let the head stop in the center. Close the eyes. Feel the outline of the whole body. All the subtle life force vibrations. Even aches or pains are also life force vibration. Remember standing, here and now of the body. Now we're going to do one last exercise, the backward and forward bending. Again, be careful with the back bends. Don't bend back too far the first time, especially as you lift up from a back bend. Be aware of any rush of energy or dizziness. Don't bend too far the first time. So I'll turn the palms outward in front. On an in-breath, lift the hands up, gradually spread the arms out to the sides as you bend backwards. Keep the eyes open. Look up at the ceiling. Feel that arch in the spine. Carefully lift up on the in-breath, keeping the arms out at the sides. And on the out-breath, lower the hands, arms down toward the floor. See if you can touch your feet to the floor with your hands. And the bones in the lower spine stretch out. Begin standing up. Turn the palms outward again. And the in-breath, arms up out to the sides. You bend back. In-breath up. Out-breath, hands to the floor. Let the little bones in the lower spine stretch out. Try to keep the legs straight. And the third time, in breath, arms up and out to the sides. Lift up, out breath, the downward stretch. So hold that a little longer. Then stretch in the back of the legs. Begin standing up. The in-breath, bring the hands together at the chest. The out-breath, hands back to the sides. Feel the whole body. Sort of hold that outline of the body in the mind's eye. Start to feel or imagine the whole body has been activated, life force activated, washing or bathing the whole body with healing life force vibrations. Basically the cellular vibrations, cells of the body dancing with joy. Got that increased prana, stretching. Start to feel that organic aliveness of the body. Natural body-centered awareness. You can feel those subtler sensations, and the mind becomes more centered in the present moment. Remember standing. Okay, so let's come back to our seats now and get ready for the sitting awareness. Okay, friends, so just try to sit straight, comfortable in the sitting posture. Keep the back and the head in a straight line. Keep the chin lifted up level with the floor. Just gently close your eyes. From that point down the eyes, just try to feel the outline of the sitting body, the sense of the head on top, the arms at the sides, hands touching together, buttocks pressing the seat, feet pressing the floor. So all those different parts of the body make up the outline of the sitting body. And tune into the center of the body. Take a few more deep, slow breaths. While taking a few more deep breaths, I'm going to be chanting the Namo Buddhaya. Just listen to those sound vibrations. Let those sound vibrations just keep the attention centered in the body. Feel the sensations generated by those sound vibrations. Just following the long tones of the chanting down to the end, the out breath. Namo Buddhaya. Namo Buddhaya. Namo Buddhaya. Namo Buddhaya. Just keep your attention on the body, and the breathing. Just let the breathing begin again when it's ready. Just keep that focus on the expanding in breath and contracting out breath. Let's count the breaths from 1 to 10. Try to develop a more continuous concentration. I'll do the counting for you. Try to follow that with the breathing and the concentration. With the next expanding in breath, mentally count to 1. Feel the brief pause. With the contracting out breath, also count to 1. Feel the last bit of air go out of the lung. Next in breath, 2. Out breath, 2. In 3. Out 3. In 4. Out 4. In 5. Out 5. In 6. Out 6. In 7. Out 7. In 8. Out 8. In 9. Out 9. In 10. Out 10. Now discontinue the counting. So let the breathing return to its uncontrolled, shorter, irregular rhythm. Continue to follow it, to feel it, feel all the little expanding and contracting sensation. Just try to feel like a scientist looking down through a microscope. focusing the attention down to the microscope of concentrated awareness, the center of the body, tuning in to the 4 phases of each breath cycle. Expanding in breath and the brief pause, contracting out breath and the brief pause, over and over and over again. Knowing when the breath is coming in, and knowing when the breath is going out. Notice the brief pauses between the breath. To help stay focused and to remember, make these brief mental reminders. In sitting, out, out, sitting. Brief pauses between the breaths. Feel the outline of the sitting body. This breathing is occurring within the larger sitting body. Try to feel those sensations where the clothing rubs against the skin, stomach, rib cage, or chest. It expands and contracts. Especially be aware when the last bit of air goes out of the lungs with the out breath. Feel that brief pause between the next in breath. Be alert for thoughts sneaking up into the mind to steal your attention away. Just make a note of thinking, let go of the thought. Stay with the breathing. In sitting. Out, sitting. Just let the thoughts come and go in the back of the mind, keeping the outline sensations of the breathing body in the front of the awareness. From time to time, take a few deep, slow breaths. Help stay connected, centered in the body. The mind gets calm and centered enough, concentrated, so that the awareness can open up and feel other sensations in the body. Breathing is always there in the center, around it, and feel other sensations, prickly sensations, itchy sensations, aches or pains, clothing touching the skin, other internal body movements. Especially be alert to how quickly certain sensations arise and vanish, or what kind of thoughts are triggered off by certain sensation. You know what the five aggregates are, identify the five aggregates. These are material vibrations. These are painful or pleasant sensation, feeling. These are perception, thought. It's the rising and changing very quickly. The Buddha always recommended us to regard these five aggregates, the material body, feelings, the mental process of feeling, perception, volition, consciousness. This is not me, not mine, not myself. These are just the five aggregates brought together by karma, by the past karma. Breathing in, sitting. Breathing out, sitting. So many different sensations come and go. Pleasure or pain come and go. Perceptions, thoughts, ideas, emotions come and go. Thoughts of I, me, and mine come and go. These are all just a continuous flow of change and impermanence of the five aggregates in their nature of impermanence, no self. This body and mind is sort of produced by the past karma. It keeps going by our present karma. We don't really own this body or mind. We're just sort of managing it, trying to keep it from causing itself unnecessary problems and suffering. We're sort of just like a babysitter. The babysitter keeps the baby from harming itself. The practice of Dhamma, we're just keeping this body from harming itself by greed, hatred, and delusion. You have good awareness, just try to feel this body and mind as like being an empty house with nobody at home to answer the call, knocking on the doors and windows. But there's a sensitive microphone in the house, which is awareness. It knows but doesn't know. Natural present moment awareness. It's always there, just beneath the surface of our active mind. It's represented by the breathing continually going in and out with the other subtle sensation. Now let's spend the last few minutes of the meditation by cultivating thoughts of metta, of friendliness, kindness to our own body and mind and all other beings. You can do some more deep, slow breathing, just cultivating this train of thought. May I be well, peaceful and wise, free from greed, hatred, fear, ignorance. May this body and mind be free from the self-created pains and sufferings brought about by such unskillful thought, speech, and action. May I also have the patience, strength, mindfulness, and wisdom to meet and overcome all difficulties in life. May I continue to be able to deepen my understanding of the Dhamma and the practice of meditation to help free the mind from suffering and confusion. May I be well, peaceful, and wise. And sending out these same thought vibrations further outward, one's family members, friends, people that you've known your whole life. Just thinking, all my family members and relatives, good friends, teachers I've had in school, neighbors that I've known from childhood to the present, classmates, all the people I see quite often during the day, ordinary folk. May all of them be well, happy, and peaceful, free from greed, hatred, fear, and ignorance, free from self-created pains and sufferings of body and mind due to their unskillful thoughts, speech, and actions. May all of them also have the patience, strength, mindfulness, and wisdom to meet and overcome all difficulties in life. If they haven't already, may they also have the opportunity to hear the teachings of the Dhamma and to learn and practice meditation to help free their minds from confusion and suffering. May they be well, peaceful, and wise. Now try to focus on either each out breath, or if you can feel your heart beating, just with each out breath or heartbeat, just imagine these waves of metta thoughts going outwards in all directions through your towns and cities, across the fields, hills, and valleys, entering through the bodies and minds of all the people, just with each out breath or heartbeat, these metta vibrations going further and further outward across the whole state, the whole country, eventually out across all the oceans to all the continents, surround the whole earth and beyond. These vibrations of metta friendliness, kindness, best wishes. The idea is, may all living beings, wherever they might be, rich or the poor, strong or the weak, visible or invisible, living near or far away, may all living beings be well, happy, and peaceful, free from greed, hatred, fear, and ignorance, free from the self-created pains and sufferings of body and mind due to their negative thought, speech, and action. May all of them also have the patience, strength, mindfulness, and wisdom to meet and overcome all difficulties in life. May all beings have the opportunity to hear the teachings of the Dhamma and to learn and practice meditation to help free their minds from confusion and suffering. May they be well, peaceful, and wise. Well, peaceful, and wise. It's like a mantra reverberating throughout space. Well, peaceful, and wise. I invite you to end this meditation by chanting the word sadhu 3 times slowly. Do that chanting on a long out breath, feeling those vibrations in the body and mind. Take a deep breath. Sadhu. 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 Now place the hands at the edge of your knees. On the next in-breath, stretch your head back, pull the hands on the knees to arch your spine backward. And lift the head up on an in-breath. On the out breath, press the chin to the top of the chest to stretch the neck vertebrae. The in-breath, lift the chin up level and relax on an out-breath. Put a smile on your face. Okay, friends. So I hope you're able to have at least some short periods of some calm and quiet, maybe some insights. We have a few moments of just experiencing the present moment awareness beneath all the activity of the surface mind. Just an announcement about this weekend retreat. We're having a weekend retreat here at the Lion of Wisdom, and I'm going to be offering the Dhamma talk on Saturday afternoon at 2 p.m. and the closing talk on Sunday morning at about 10 a.m. And I mentioned those in the newsletter that I sent out just last week. On Monday, yeah. So if you're available or you want to tune in to those, it's going to just be on YouTube, not on Zoom. I'm not going to put it on Zoom because there's not going to be any interaction or so on that, just the Dhamma talk. So you can go to our Lion of Wisdom YouTube channel, 2 o'clock, and then you should be able to see that live, like the live broadcast. Okay?
Thank you, Bhante.
Well, until then, try to practice your M&Ms and daily meditation.
Thank you,
And get a good
Bhante. Good night.
night's sleep.
Thank you, Bhante. Thank you.
Good night to everyone. Nice,
Thank you, Bhante. Good night.
nice, deep sound sleep tonight for all of us.
Everyone, good night.
Thanks,
What
Bhante.
M&Ms can we use?
Thank you,
Easter
Bhante.
eggs?
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you very much,
I'll put
Bhante.
Easter eggs instead of the M&Ms.
Well, happy Easter. Yeah, I
Yes.
forgot about that. Happy Easter, yes.
Happy Easter.
Happy Easter, Bhante.
Yeah, Dhamma talk might have that something about Easter in it. It's,
Wonderful.
all right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good night,
again,
Bhante.
everyone.
Good night.
Thank you. That's right.
Sleep well.
Good night.
Good night.
Namaste.
Without any nightmares or bad